All right, we pushed live. We're going a little earlier than we typically plan to. This is going to probably happen occasionally. I'm hoping it doesn't happen frequently. Oh, did you set up the Twitter?
I linked it to the Twitter.
I forgot to add that as a destination. So we'll be live on Twitter Wednesday. It's too late. It's too late now.
That's fine.
We already pushed live. This will happen occasionally though. We'll probably do a couple of shows way earlier than expected just because of work constraints. Me having to work at 6 to midnight, which is always just a blast, an absolute blessing and a blast that I get to do that. I pitched to Sean the other day, and you didn't like this. I thought that an apartment hookah would be a good idea. I pitched that on Saturday. I'm not saying that we keep it in the apartment, but considering the large group I saw up on the roof rocking the hookah, I think that it would be a good social opportunity to have.
You're trying to rock the hookah?
Yeah, to be the apartment that has the hookah. We're the hookah guys. Oh, it's the two big dumpy white guys with the hookah. That's what we would consistently be.
Okay, gotcha. All right, so I don't mind that you're trying to brand out our apartments as, some sort of theme or vibe that we're trying to put off. But how much is the hookah that you pitched me, pal?
How much money was it? It was a $60 hookah that was on sale for $30, so it was 50% off. So I don't think it's a good deal. It's a good deal.
That's a bad deal.
You're a hookah expert?
We would split it. It would be $30 each for both of us to get cancer. Because whatever metal and whatever coils are being used in a $60 hookah are going to end you.
Okay, this one's saying, a lot of these people are saying $50.
Hookahs are $50? Why are they
bragging about the recommendations are, this isn't r/hookah. First hookah I bought 9 years ago was $100. It's a 32-inch green single pair KM. A lot of KMs, don't know what that means. It sounds like people are saying like $100, but for a beginner hookah, you got to get the training wheels off first. So we're not going to go full speed into some super big set. Let's look at hookahs. What
I'm not getting a hookah. I'm not doing it. Hookah dudes. Every time you have a hookah and someone hits your hookah, you have to.
This one's only 20.
That's the one you sent me, isn't it?
No, it's not the one I sent you.
Well, Fat Kid Deals doesn't even have the real deals here. What flavor would you get? What are you thinking? You thinking mint, strawberry, passion fruit?
I mean, you can't go wrong with something that's mint flavored. I'm just saying some of the best times that I've had when I've been out and about is when I've ended up at a hookah lounge.
No.
That's not even a fake statement. That's not an arbitrary one. I have had some wonderful nights while I've been out at a hookah lounge.
My worst nights have ended at hookah lounges, personally.
How many times have you been to a hookah lounge?
There was one right on Wilson Boulevard in Arlington. Don Julio's. Go ahead. Or Don Tito's. Go ahead. You check it out. 4th floor, you can't hang there. You just can't. Colin, I'm sure I'm killing the fun. No. This isn't killing the fun,
Colin. Get his ass, Colin.
Colin, I'm not killing the fun. I'm killing another inhibitor to space in this apartment that wouldn't get used. This hookah would
it's not staying in the. We're not smoking it in the apartment. I'm anti-smoking the hookah in the apartment. That is not something that's going to happen.
Oh, then that's killing the fun.
No, we're not doing that in the apartment. We're not, especially because there's no weed smoke in the apartment either. I don't want any of that.
There hasn't been.
You can't wear that hat and be anti-hookah. You can't wear a hat with that.
It's a Grateful Dead hat.
You can't wear the hat with that pattern. Be anti-hookah. All right, we're not here to talk about hookahs. We're here to recap the action from the LSU USC game yesterday. We're also going to share our thoughts on Miami's huge triumphant win and then maybe just some other ancillary takeaways from week 1. As well as this sudden hate for Ben the dog. I don't understand it. Apparently Sean's in the hater camp, which is unbelievable. I'm disgusted to find this out. We're going to unpack this later on. And then lastly, DirecTV is screwing over football fans who will just want to watch ESPN. Good luck. Don't know when that's coming back. We're going to get to all that on today's show. Before we do, we're going to hit the break and we're going to hear from Bet Online. We'll be right back.
And now back to your regular programming.
If you speak better to yourself.
You showed up for like probably the dumbest conversation we've ever had on this show.
Let's have that smile again.
Tell me how that happens. Physically should not happen.
Relax.
If you say it
Give me as well.
3 times a day, God will line it up.
He's just an absolute hack, and he gets his ass kicked by his teammates every week. It's just terrible.
Sean, bet online.
Oh, yeah, sure. Why not?
Get at it. Get after it.
As the big winner, 100%er, not to bury the lead, and I'm not going to, cast stones because we're both trying to make some money betting on football this year. One of us killed it. One of us didn't this weekend. Not going to name names. Bet online. That's where you need to be doing your sports wagering. It feels unreal. It feels unreal that this week we're going to have college football on the weekends. We have a Monday night college football game. NFL returns Thursday and Friday, loading up the back of my britches for that. Regardless, Bet online, that's where you need to be going and doing your sports gambling. If you had a nice little week one, then you have some pocket change walking around money to lay some bets on all week. And I am thrilled about it. I'm going to be in deep this weekend. And I can't wait to lose it all. Doesn't matter. Think you know your stuff? BetOnline is hosting a $200,000 mega contest where you pick 5 games against the spread every week for your chance at weekly prizes and a share at $200K. When the game's over, head on to their online casino, get in on a game of blackjack or poker, whatever you feel like. Head to the website today to get in on the action. BetOnline, the game starts here.
Thank you, Sean. Folks, BetOnline, go bet there. If you bet on LSU like I did on BetOnline, you gave them a free tip. You gave them a free handout. Last night, many were surprised to see the outcome of the LSU-USC game. USC surges back for a 27-20 victory over the LSU Tigers. And of course, all we're talking about after this is Brain Kelly, who is caught after the game in a press conference, banging the table, talking about how his team cannot finish. And look, I'm going to say this on Rufino and Joe show later, and I'm sure that the discourse is not going to be as friendly as the one that we're going to have right now between me and Blake. This is something that, as a Notre Dame fan, I'm used to. And this is a warning that has come to LSU fans from the Notre Dame side when he was hired and over the past couple of years. Brain Kelly does not finish in big games. He will get you 3/4 of the way there. He is going to get you a really damn good football team that's going to be 10-2, 9-3 every single year. And they're going to go 10-2 this year. Their schedule is extremely winnable. We talked about this in the preview. They have an extremely winnable schedule. I don't know if they make the playoff. They might have boxed themselves out of it because of having to play in the SEC and having to basically go pretty much unscathed to have a good enough of a resume and a record to secure and lock in a spot. Maybe they're the 12th team in after the G5 team. Maybe that's the direction that this goes in. But Sean, I'm not shocked, man. Like, I don't know why. I was hoping that LSU would win because it made the most sense in the matchup, and I put money down on them. But I don't know why I let myself believe that Brain Kelly in a different destination was going to change things. Brain Kelly, this time though, he doesn't have Notre Dame to blame for his lack of results. He can't blame where he's at right now for his inability to get past the 90% of success that he's always done. I don't know if they're ever going to reach really that national championship caliber like many would have hoped. He's recruiting at that level for the next 2 classes, but here we are again, unbelievably underwhelming.
You know who he can blame, Joe? His quarterback. In his
you gonna go that? Are you gonna be that guy?
Am I that guy? Saying that Miller Moss outplayed Garrett Nussmeier. That's a little strong. Miller Moss.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that far. I think they both played equally as good. I think one guy flashed a little more juice, which was Garrett Nussmeier, and I think that Miller Moss was a little bit more pinpoint accurate when he needed to be. They played serviceably both pretty good.
From a Rube standpoint, I would say Miller Moss outplayed Nussmeier, but it's not
the Rubes were.
It's not the head coach's job to point that out in the post-game press conference. What a ridiculous meltdown!
Done that.
What you just should never do
Forgot
that.
about that.
I don't mind him. I don't mind if you want to punch the table. Punch the table. Don't look like a goofball doing it, and don't lose to USC in a crucial game, week 1. Again, I respect you for setting up a entertaining week 1 matchup, playing in front of the nation on a Sunday night. I love that. I love that both teams had the balls to do it. Someone had to win that game. But goodness, over the last couple years, this is an LSU team that just doesn't win that game, and it seems to continue. They can't do it. They are a team that can't do it. Do Notre Dame fans feel a little bit foolish after the instant reaction to Brian Kelly leaving for LSU, or is there still some hurt because he chose to do this?
No, okay, so I don't think you understand the feelings that Notre Dame fans had in the outcome of that. It wasn't oh my God, we lost our coach, we're screwed. It was the guy who couldn't get over the hump left us, and now we can move on and find somebody better. That was the sentiment. It's like when if you're in a relationship with somebody and the whole time you're kind of just thinking to yourself, I could probably do better. Mm-hmm. Do I think I could? And then suddenly they break up with you because they met somebody at work, and you're like, oh, okay, let's go test around and see what else is out there.
You're sitting here, that was easier than I thought it was.
Yeah, that was, like, I didn't have to break up with this person. They're gone. They're just out the door. That's what the sentiment was for Notre Dame fans, and it is a little bit of, there is definitely salt for Notre Dame fans. Notre Dame fans is hoping that Brian Kelly doesn't ever win a national championship at LSU. I'm not in that camp. I like good football programs to be good, but the real hater Notre Dame fans look at it as, we're glad he's gone, we hope he never succeeds, and we can't wait till LSU fans realize what you signed up for. That's what the sentiment is. That's what it is on Twitter. That's how all of the Notre Dame fans that I see on Twitter talk. I don't think that they're necessarily scorned by this, or to what you're asking, are they upset and do they feel silly after the outcome of it? No, they feel completely justified.
They're vindicated?
Completely vindicated, because everything that they said towards the end of Brian Kelly and then his transition is coming to fruition.
We're sitting here, slams fist again, talking about the same things. I actually thought LSU looked different in week one. The defensively they looked
did
way better. I like that the attitude in which they were running the ball. There were some things about this LSU team that I really enjoyed seeing, and they made great strides, it looks like, in the offseason and just generally in coaching. So I can understand the frustration. It's not really the same things you're talking about. You're talking about you winning the big game. That's I think what the outrage is stemming from. Because unfortunately, on the flip side, USC came out and did a lot of the same things LSU did in the offseason. I mean, the D'Anton Lynn hire through week one is already paying dividends.
Yeah.
I mean, goodness. That is a USC defense I haven't seen since Clay Matthews was there, rolling around in the linebacking position. They flew around, and then the USC offense. Maybe I'm a jackass, but I'll be watching Miller Moss much closer this season. He was impressive at times with his gutsiness throwing that football. So they ran into I don't know what you could expect from USC. You probably didn't expect him to be that stout on defense and to actually want to tackle. But make an adjustment, I guess.
Well, and I think that a lot of people didn't, and I tweeted this out, you don't expect coming into the game that either of those teams were going to stand up and stop the opposing offenses as easily as they did. And I don't know if that we chalk that up to new quarterbacks, new system, or not new system, but just like newness to the situations on offense that they weren't operating as effectively as they could, that made the defenses look better. I'm not going to go that far, because I saw Blake Baker being aggressive as hell against an offensive line that they thought that they could exploit, and they did. And I saw what I didn't think was going to happen in week one. I saw more effective tackling, but the more important part, and why Alex Grinch's defense was a joke, is not only was the scheme bad, but the approach was, let's just try to turn the damn ball over. Let's just try to do what we can to get the ball back for us, make these big splash plays on defense. And there was no effectiveness in break down, contain, don't allow yards after the catch. Tackling might not have been 100% fully where it needs to be, but there was a lot better contain after the catch. That was particularly noticeable. I'll give USC a lot of credit here. And why I'm not really all in on the Miller Moss glazing that's happening right now, I thought he played fine. What needs to be recognized is that receiver room and that offensive weaponry that USC has is
Kyron Hudson.
It's freaking nuts. Yeah. Kyron Hudson's like the fourth guy down on the list that I want to talk about. Deuce Robinson had that insane play that he had where he just zoomed past the nickel corner and caught that ball on the sideline. I think he's going to have a huge year as this receiver tight end hybrid. He was recruited as a tight end. It seems like they're just deploying him as a big slot, which is going to be super dangerous. And holy shit, Zachariah Branch.
Yeah, are you kidding?
What?
Week one, just go ahead and do it to him.
Oh my God, that kid is going to cause problems in the Big Ten. Some big, bulky, slow ass that's going to be working at Enterprise in 2 years is going to see him over the middle and think, oh, I'm going to clean this kid's clock. And his ankles are going to be so broken that they're going to be 20 yards behind Zachariah Branch as he's zooming to score a touchdown.
I mean, was that the luckiest kicker tackle you've ever seen in your life? I mean, genuinely.
No, that was a great breakdown. Give my man props.
Should have been 6 though.
That was a great play by that dude. That was a hell. I give the kicker props. That's a kickoff specialist. He's a good damn tackler. Give him some love.
You know,
I almost thought that was like a DB that they had go kick off. Like seriously, I was like, who is this kid? Kickers don't tackle like that.
No, they do not. I was shocked at that. Branch is electric, and what I liked most about this game and why it felt like a real football game, the touchdowns were hard earned, crazy touchdowns in the end zone. The toe tap from LSU was fantastic. Everything, it didn't feel like it was just gimme ball or, okay, we're going to run it 3 times inside zone and then break through. The game-winning touchdown from USC was spectacular. Inside, up the gut, break a tackle, leave him with 6 seconds left. Ballsy call there. Everyone wants you to throw it. You didn't. It was a great top-to-bottom football game, and I'm jealous that we probably won't get another one as fun next week. Just because this one was so much fun.
Next week is going to be a lot of ranked blowouts. We already kind of talked about Brian Kelly's fallout with this. I don't think anyone's, maybe some LSU fans are, I don't think anyone's screaming that Brian Kelly's done. We're not going to go that far. But the Lincoln Riley side of this, I'll admit, I think that USC showed me enough that this is going to be a better year than I anticipated. That might even be a playoff team, but they need to be on their P's and Q's against some very stout defenses that they're going to face. Like they got Penn State coming up. They got Michigan coming up. They cannot make any mistakes defensively. And then the flip side of things, they can't allow those hard-nosed defenses overwhelm that offensive line because LSU kind of cracked through a little bit there.
That's a good offensive line though. Monheim moving to center is really good. He was stout. That offensive line is big as hell. Also, I know they were highlighting it pregame. They're 5 behemoths lining up front, which I don't mind if you're going into the Big Ten. Beef up. Because when I'm not looking and seeing a bunch of silky pass rushers in the Big Ten, I'm seeing a lot of strong guys that can lift 325 pounds over their shoulders. So if you can have a stout front 5 like USC does currently have, I think they hold up way better than I was expecting. They have changed. They've almost gone through a little bit of puberty here from last year to this year. They're growing into the big boy bodies and playing with a big boy scheme, and I appreciate it. They are acclimating quickly to Big Ten football, as I say in week 1 before they play Wisconsin or whoever.
Colin wants to know our thoughts on the gun touchdown celebration from Kyron Lacey. Yeah, let's not do that. Like, let's not expect that you're not going to get the flag called for pulling out the gun, Selly. Yeah. I don't know what he thought was going to happen there.
If it's worth it, if you feel like that 15 yards is worth it, that's your celebration. You scored the touchdown. You had a great game. I'm not doing that early in the game. That is like a finishing move in a fighting game for me. You're not breaking out. You have to start with your combos. Work the guy down. Then when they get in the red, hit the super flashy move. But that's only when you know you're going to beat them. You didn't, though. So now it just seems like a kind of a goofy celebration for naught.
So yesterday, the other discourse that happened that everyone was distracted with was Ben the dog, who is the golden retriever of Kirk Herbstreit. It sparked a little bit of, all right, we're sick of the dog, get the dog out of the booth. I think anybody, there are also some people that, I'm allergic to dogs. This is a power move. Like you're trying to completely manipulate the power dynamic of the situation by having this dog in the booth. Okay, you need to
call the dog ableist almost.
Yeah, you need to settle down. That's some seriously insane behavior for anyone who tries to make those arguments. But the whole thing that was happening yesterday, all these people can't enjoy the fact that there's this clearly just thoughtless dog that is nothing but happy and friendly. It's not barking during the broadcast. It hasn't taken a single dump in the booth. It hasn't done anything inappropriate or obnoxious. The dog just smiles and walks around. And people are saying they're sick of the dog and get the dog off the TV. It's pleasant seeing a dog, just seeing a happy dog. And also, I'm not in this camp because My girlfriend actually watches the games and actually pays attention to them. But there's plenty of dudes out there that can send the pictures of the dog to their girlfriend and incentivize them maybe to sit on the couch and watch the game with them. Hey, look, there's a golden retriever in the booth. You want to watch the game with me, babe? Maybe they'll sit down and watch the damn game. I don't understand what the issue is. Why do you hate Ben?
You just stepped in your own bear trap.
Why did I step in my own bear trap?
Because it's fodder. It's non-football fodder that you can
Who
send to your
cares?
girlfriend.
Who cares?
It's a football game. I want to watch a football. I don't want it to be a freaking ass shot of Kirk Herbstreit's dumb dog that he flies everywhere. I am sick of this dog.
God forbid the dog is just happily hanging out in the fucking booth, and you got to be
There's
so
a time
upset
and place
over
for
it.
dogs, and we have lost that sensibility in America.
It's not doing anything to disrupt anything. You're arguing that it's fodder. If it was barking and being a
It's
distraction.
insisting upon itself, and it's arrogance from Herbstreit to think that we're so dumb and that everyone just loves dogs so much. And I love dogs. And this is the qualifier I have to make also. As a lifetime
I don't believe
dog
you.
owner,
I don't believe that
No,
you
no, no.
don't like that you like dogs.
There is a time and place for dogs, and you don't go shoving it everywhere. And there's an arrogance for Herbstreit, and you know it, and you can feel it. Oh, look,
You're in the camp of the guy who was trying to say
Zen college football guy that needs his dog with me. He's pulling a Steve-O.
You're
That's what
making
he's doing.
you're making the same type of argument that the guy who said that it's inappropriate for people who are allergic to dogs to have the dog in the booth. You sound exactly like that. You are a fun-hating MFer.
It's not fun. It's a distraction.
It's not a distraction.
ESPN
when you're
fired RG3 to have that dog more
because they don't have to pay the dog. The dog doesn't cost anything.
Pay your talent. Pay someone that actually adds to the broadcast. Adds to your not a stupid dog
RG3 doesn't.
for the dumbification
hold on
of
one second.
America.
First of all, by the way, we didn't talk about the RG3 thing. RG3 is better off not being at ESPN because ESPN and I implore. I don't know if it's the ESPN book you should read if you want to borrow it. By the way, one of the things that they talk. Wait. One of the things that they talked about is how ESPN is so anti-talent. They don't want the talent to be bigger than the network, and it's why oftentimes when people outgrow the network, we see them drift off and do other things. Dan Le Batard's one of them. Dan Patrick is one of them. Rich Eisen is one of them. Pat McAfee is them overreacting because they overly pushed people out the door. And Stephen A. Smith is because they're so desperate for his interactions that he generates, they have to keep him. RG3 leaving, that's the best thing for him. He has a podcast with another platform. He gets to do freelance stuff elsewhere. A perfect example of what Adam Brenneman's doing is the perfect example. Have a freelance contract with as many different people as possible. So if somebody gets rid of you, you still have everything else to back up to, and you own your own content. So spare me that they got rid of RG3 for the damn dog. The dog doesn't cost anything.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't cost anything. And it's just an easy grab to get on no context CFP. It's just
Sam
easy.
gets it. This is such I like the image of the dog's tail wagging between Kirk and Reese, but you can't see the dog. It's just such a nice, pleasant thing. The dog's there and he's hanging out.
What have we talked about in the watch parties so far this week? And just watching college football, you and me, what have we talked about? We're not seeing as much as the game as it feels like we used to. The commercials are going crazy. I want the cameras on the field, on the players and the coaches and the fans, not the booth. Not the booth just because there's a dumb dog laying there.
I'm glad that this
Sick
is
of that dog.
the angry old man that you're turning into.
It's not an angry old man. I'm tired of being considered dumb by the broadcast companies. It's my right to be dumb on my own accord, okay? No, I don't want them to dictate how dumb I'm supposed to be perceived.
You have the take of a guy, like a big sweaty guy that can't fit
and sweaty.
Can't fit into a shirt at the bar.
True.
That when you're sitting there just enjoying the game and leans over to you like, oh, there's that damn dog again. Like why are you mad about the dog? We're just watching the game. It's not taken away from the game.
Yell about this dog in public.
Yeah, because you know.
I know the sycophants would have me on a
microphone.
stake. Yeah, I'll do it on a microphone.
I would rather
lock my door here.
I'd rather see Ben broadcasted more.
Why do we know the dog's name?
Because it's a great name for a dog. It's such a stupid people name for a dog. I like people name on dogs, first of all. And also, second of all, I would rather keep seeing Ben than have to see Taylor Swift in the stands. That to me is pandering and
It's
desperation.
It's equally as disrespectful.
Nobody's
to
like,
the
I'm a
fans.
big fan of Ben the dog. Nobody's like
Have
that.
you seen Twitter
But
today?
the
It's
amount
all been, oh, I need more Ben the dog content.
it's turned into a controversial topic suddenly because idiots like you are giving this more run than it needs.
idiots like you that are just eating the slop that they're serving you. Ben the dog.
I don't
Sick of it.
I would much rather have this than the oh my god, look, Taylor Swift's in the stands. Taylor Swift's in the stands. Get your girlfriend to come over here and sit down and watch the game with you because Taylor Swift's in the stands. I'd rather see Ben the dog hanging out, chilling. That's a much less forced.
I pitched Dukes a segment idea after seeing that Taylor Swift is drawing up plays for the Chiefs. Here's the segment. Tell me if you like it. Sean hits himself in the back of the head with a hammer until he goes unconscious. That's my new segment idea. I can't Football used to be a little more exclusive, okay? It used to be more
ding,
exclusive.
ding. That's what it
Yeah,
is.
that's exactly
what it is.
We're bringing in non-football rubes to come and mess up the party.
I kind of like when I would go to parties and I would go to a bar and there's a large group of people and you could tell most of these people don't really watch football and they would ask me questions and they would just show interest in it because there's suddenly now more availability to show interest in it. I kind of like that people can have light conversations about it. And you know what? If someone gets a little bit more attached to the sport because there's a goofy dog in the booth, good. I would like that. What did Colin say that you took?
Joe is hypocritical. Ben the dog.
No,
they are the same thing.
No, they're not.
They're exactly. They're being
not.
used by the cameras at these TV companies as the exact same thing. Fodder for the dummies.
No, they're not the same thing because you can have Taylor Swift's fans that are so embedded in the fandom that will suddenly watch Chiefs games or have it on while they're on their phone for 3 hours in case Taylor Swift pops up on the screen.
Obviously.
Yeah, there's no girls are actually like, oh, I need to watch the game in case I see Ben the dog. It's just if you happen to have a girlfriend, you can send her pictures of the dog during the game, and it's just a nice thing. It's a nice conversation. Like, hey, look, there was a dog in the booth. It's very different. Very different.
I send my mom animal videos every day because I know it makes her happy. I know it's a nice little connect. You send the animal videos. I didn't send her dick about Ben the dog because I can't stand it. I'll send her a duck, having a fun time with a big dog. I'll send her chickens running around the coop with other chickens. I've sent her horses.
Shit, animal content in your feed. Get some better animal content in your feed.
Anything is better than Ben the dog content. And there's people in that booth that are like, I can't believe he's still coming. Oh, let's bring him on the field. Let him run around. He's having the best life in America. I'm sure. Keep taking that dog up in that plane everywhere. I'm sure it's healthy for dogs to fly that much. I think Jack Mack pointed that out.
Oh, is it really that?
I don't know. Yeah. Keep on putting the dogs in the loudest possible environments possible, aka college football stadiums, and fly them.
He doesn't care. The dog doesn't care.
He can't hear anymore. I'm sure that's why. Why isn't he barking? Oh, he doesn't even know if there's something to bark at.
He's just blind and deaf.
Yeah,
he's
exactly.
just hanging on by a thread at this point. That's why he's so docile. All right, to talk about Miami, there's been a little bit of Miami glazing. They dominated Florida.
Yeah.
In an ungodly manner. They traveled to the swamp and they completely blew past them. Cam Ward, 3 touchdowns, over 380 yards passing, 1 interception. I'm a little annoyed by this because I was early on this. I was really early on this. I can go track on Bet Online where and when I placed my Miami to win the ACC bet and to make the playoff bet. That was back in May. When I placed that bet. I have been in on Cam Ward and all of this. And I said coming into the season that they were going to surprise a lot of people, a lot of doubters. And now suddenly, all these national media people that cover college football, because they did their first show of the season, like, whoa, this Miami team's pretty good. They look pretty
got
good.
A quarterback. Yeah, you should have known as soon as you saw him go from Incarnate Word to Wazoo that he was going to find another spot and become a dominant. You should have known watching him in Incarnate Word, pointing out like we were doing the FCS show 3 years ago, how good this dude was going to be. And he is that good. And it's really impressive, his start. But the national, let's jump on the bandwagon here. It feels a little much. But again, if you're Miami and you've been a roller coaster, dumpster fire at times, sometimes fun, and then you go out and you just absolutely pull the pants down and spank the hell out of Florida like they did, then I think you deserve some national spotlight glazing, especially how kind of sleepy that mid-afternoon slate was on Saturday.
I to kind of get away from my obnoxious gatekeeping though, I'm glad I'm vindicated though. Like I am very glad that I am vindicated because
A week one vindication, you're already calling it?
oh my dude, they embarrassed Florida in
know
one of
they
the hardest road environments ever for
It was
anyone.
loud.
For anyone who's trying to undermine that win does not know college football. You do not get the sport if you think that that is not a big deal. Miami is freaking back. It is like last year, and it reminds me a ton of last year with Texas, where they get the early big season win. They beat Alabama, very different type of a win.
Yeah.
But you can start to see that, oh, they got their juice back. They're recruiting at a higher level, not as consistently as Miami should be because they keep getting decommitments, but you're recruiting at a higher level. You're dominating in the portal. You're developing guys. You have the structure of what Miami needs to run through the ACC, and this is the year for them to do it. That was one of their hardest games. They get Florida State, and they have one of the lightest schedules. I think the only ranked opponent, I believe from a graphic that I saw from Fox College Football, was that they only have one ranked opponent. They're like Notre Dame. They have a super playable and winnable schedule. I think that they go undefeated. That has been my prediction this entire time. I think that they go 12-0. I think that Cam Ward is going to be at the podium. We love stories, and the story is already starting to be created. This young man who worked his way up from being a no-name recruit who threw for insane stats at Incarnate Word, goes to Washington State, elevates that program, and then moves on to Miami with an elite offense. I feel totally vindicated. I don't care if it's an overreaction. Anyone who wants to poo-poo that can gladly go ahead and do it, but we are going to be proven week in and week out that this Miami team is legit.
Yeah, they got FAMU next, Ball State, that's going to be 2 quick wins. South Florida, another quick win. Virginia Tech, fraud watch there, that's going to be another win. Cal, win. Louisville, win.
Tougher game, but
tougher,
win.
Not a D rank opponent, probably in the B range. Florida State, let's see what happens against Boston College. Then we can start making judgments on them. Duke, that'll be a win. Georgia Tech, we'll see what happens with them. Wake win. Syracuse likely win at the end of the season. That is a pretty easy schedule. Lining it up with a lot of juice on that first week, you're rolling the dice. You're on the craps table. But they dominated that Florida team. They made Billy Napier a trending topic, most hated man in America on Saturday. And I'm literally genuinely on Saturday, I was checking in on Florida fans that I just knew casually to see how they were handling it. And it's, he's getting flamed by the group chat right now terribly.
So you bring that up. Everybody's kind of saying pack it in. I'm surprised by we put out the most viewed video for Ruffino and Joe from last show was us declaring that he's done. And a lot of the Florida fans were commenting, yep, he's done. We're sick of this. He's the worst coach that we've ever had. There's some comments that are kind of defending him, which is a little weird. But you noted here that there were some comments that Billy Napier made today where he was saying, we can't listen to the fans in the basement. Billy, you don't say that if you're not reading the comments and listening to the people that you're trying to downplay as their opinion not mattering. Clearly it's getting to you, Billy. It's clearly getting to you because our opinion does matter when you continue to falter and when you need support, but instead you're going to go after the people that you claim are sitting in their basement, which is one of the laziest, stupidest tropes that we consistently get from coaches when they're struggling and they suck at their jobs.
Yeah, not only that, it's not just saying, hey, we need to stay offline and try to focus on ourselves, which was the premise of his entire conference was, hey, if we just lock in and focus on football, if you left it at that, it would have been fine coach speak, we move on for it. But not only are you attacking the fans, you're attacking the fans in your own state, in Florida, saying Central Florida, hi Ben, it's nice, there are no basements, you can't have basements in Florida because the groundwater is so high up, and you genuinely can't dig into your basement without it flooding. That's why so many people's houses flood on the first floor. It's the flattest state in America, but it's just for topography.
How did we end up on? I was listening to you, obviously, but how do you end up with topography?
You don't attack the state, the fans of the state where you are in college football. That seems like rule number 1 of advice that I would give to a head coach. Hey, I know you do things your own way, but let's lay off the fans that are in our state that do travel to the games. Because there's Florida fans spread everywhere. That's where they're everywhere in Florida. They're infested. They infest everywhere in the nation. So just work in generics, please, and don't turn everyone against you every time you open your yap. It felt very not premeditated, very very on the spot. I'm getting overly emotional about what happened.
Well, and that to me is the real nail in the coffin for Billy Napier, because you've gotten to the point where you don't care how people are going to react to you directly calling out fans who are sick of your shit. You are directly now criticizing those people, which you just pointed out. You should never, ever criticize the fans, because the minute that you do, theoretically, say you turn this around somehow, you upset Georgia and everybody feels Billy fixed it and you're going to get an extra year.
Yeah.
None of that's going to happen. You're going to get fired. Everyone is always going to be on your tail the minute that you slip up even an inch. You're making yourself unlikable. And it's clear that indirectly, subconsciously, maybe he's already at that point where he knows that there's no saving this. He's just going to point out, all of these people have had it in for me since the start, which is also not true, because he's gotten a ridiculous amount of support from fans when he was hired. Everybody thought that it was a tremendous, ridiculous hire, and it wasn't.
Yeah, it feels like you're letting the noise get to you. And sure, there's been a lot of noise for Napier. There's a lot of comparison with Mullen and what happened, and he's undeserved. It's just a bad play. It's never a good play to go after. And there's not a job in America where you can be more instantly likable than a college football coach. Nobody wants to like someone more than a fan wanting to like the head coach of their football team that they root for. Everybody wants to like that coach. You know why? Because he's going to bring you wins and happiness. He's going to take you out of your zone for a little bit and coach up a team ready to go. If it's a coach that's losing, yeah, you're going to have some people that are really just not going to like you anyways. But even in loss, you can be a good person and be liked at the podium. You can say the right things and be coached up about that and practice what you're going to say and be ready for it. Or you're a leader of men. People want to respect you as well. And if you go 0 for 3 on that, no one's going to be in your corner. And right now, it looks like Napier is at that 0 for 3 level.
I like Ron's Barnyard Billy. That's a good one. Yeah, no, the smoke's already there. The fire's already burning. There's no way to survive this if you're Billy Napier. The biggest thing is that you come into that game, you don't even need to win it. You don't even need to win it, because Miami was clearly the better team on paper before the game was even snapped. They were favored as well. You just needed to play them close and play a hard-fought battle. And neither of those things came to fruition. You looked hapless. You looked unmotivated as a team. And more importantly, you had the biggest issue over the last 2 years. You had multiple stupid penalties throughout the game. I forget what their final penalty stats were, but the same dumb, simple mistakes that have held them back as a program that come down to coaching continue to catch up to them. There was a headline during the offseason that they were going to be using a special teams launching pad, which we had at Rhode Island. And kind of the joke was, well, did that help? Clearly it didn't fix the other issues. Clearly it didn't fix the other problems. This is a program that is a problem front to back and that is not going to be fixed anytime soon. You got to start over. I give them 2 more weeks. I give them 2 more weeks.
Then they just completely pull it.
I don't know what their next SEC matchup is, but if they lose whatever the next SEC loss is, he's done.
When do you pull the plug on Mertz?
I've been saying that you start Lagway as soon as possible. I think that if you fire Billy, whoever the interim is, the athletic director needs to say, just start Lagway. If he struggles, who cares? We need this kid to feel wanted. We need this kid to start building some confidence and enjoy being there. It's the only way to guarantee that kid stays. Because otherwise, I mean, that's your future. That's the only really reason it feels like Billy Napier got the extra year, was because he recruited this future superstar. And he looked pretty good in the spurts that he had for a true freshman going up against that defensive line. But I'm pulling him as soon as Billy's gone.
I think I saw Bud Elliott saying he was projecting Lagway to College Station next
that, which
year.
is pretty funny.
Yeah, we'll see what
Someone
happens.
pointed out apparently he is a Baylor. He's got like a Baylor connection, a father
Really?
or something. Yeah, family member went to Baylor. I think it might be his dad.
Maybe you could turn around Baylor. That'd be fun.
Be random as shit.
We'll get around out of there. I'm sure Baylor would turn around just fine.
Another thing that happened yesterday that sparked plenty of ire for college football fans in general, was the dispute that's happening between ESPN and DirecTV. Now, we're not going to go into the minutia of the contract negotiations that are happening. I was reading an article on it, and it's just the typical back and forth from the representatives of either side. Well, ESPN's basically doing the whole, or Disney rather is doing the whole, they're asking for us to give a huge discount compared to the other providers. Why would we do that? And then you get the whole DirecTV. Oh, Disney's acting like their packages are so premier and greater than everybody that they're holding it so preciously, but they're giving us low tier compared to what they usually do. Just like the typical posturing in the situation. We're not going to talk that angle, but the outcome of this currently is the expiration is going to lead to the network's going dark for more than 11 million satellite users for DirecTV, which is insane. I'm sure a lot of people are going to be signing up for YouTube TV because it seems to be the go-to for everybody here. But what was your thought on this? Because I don't know if I necessarily have an opinion because I've never had like an issue like this.
I've had plenty of issues with blackouts, mostly with MLB, and I think that's what's held them back immensely from growing their space. In 2024, there should be no excuse for why a fan of a team can't turn on a TV and find games to watch. Whatever the premier game is, if it's a national game, if it's Sunday Night Football, Monday Night Football, Thursday night, there should be a way where you can go and watch it. And based on location, restriction, provider, I don't care. I don't care at this point if we need a monopoly, just to have one company take over, just become the overlords.
Get that on a shirt. Sean is pro monopoly. I'm a
be
big monopoly guy.
I think I might have to be a big monopoly guy.
No, because the cable would cost $400 a month if that was the case.
These providers can't work together. They have failed. You shouldn't. If I am paying for MLB TV and I am paying and linking it with my cable, and I've finally gotten through the login, because you can never do it properly because you're not an owner on the account, and you have to go down to the store and get that set up also. When you go through all the hoops and you still can't watch the game, and these are hard, difficult, narrow hoops to try to dive through, and you still can't do it, it causes immense frustration. It kills the growth of the sport. It is. Could you imagine sitting here last night and we live in an apartment, and the only provider we have is DirecTV. You know, that's happens across America. Okay, cool. We're living in this building. They're a DirecTV building. Cool. It's all going good. And you want to watch USC LSU. You just do. Maybe you're not even a mega fan, and you turn it on. You can't watch it.
Well, more importantly, if you are the mega fan and then you can't tune in, that's where you're getting really, really screwed. But this is what's different, though, from if this was 2010. All you go is, okay, I'm going to cancel my subscription, and then I'm going to sign up for YouTube TV. So DirecTV has no...
It's just pushing them away.
Leverage in the situation. I, for one, think that a move like this is just leading us in the direction of a lot of these providers trying to launch their own distribution. So ESPN, and this is something that's been speculated in some of the articles I was reading, they are trying to... It's well known that they're trying to build their own flagship ESPN product that people pay for, and all it is like, oh, I just get all of the ESPN content. I get to watch it live. I get to watch all the ESPN channels live. I get to watch all the games live. Everything is on that ESPN app. That's the direction that we're turning to. I think that I'm going to go as far as say, I think this is good that these stupid, big, massive companies like Xfinity, don't cut off our Wi-Fi, please. Like Verizon, Fios, like Spectrum. I know that they're all owned basically by the same people. DirecTV, Dish. I'm glad that they're no longer able to stronghold in these situations, because normally in the past, they used to be able to say to these providers, oh, well, we're the only provider in this area, so you're going to just get to hear from all these upset customers that they can't tune in. That doesn't happen anymore. Yeah. There's options. Get YouTube TV. Get Fubo TV. Screw these stupid providers. I'm sick of the ability for DirecTV to manipulate a situation like this.
And I have been a cable sympathizer forever because it's the fastest. You stay up to date. You are lined in on what's going on. But since
another old man take
being on YouTube TV in this apartment, which I will not pay for, you
better be chipping in, because we got.
You came with a king's ransom for me today in Venmo requests. Give me a break.
Hey, leave your lights off in your bedroom, man.
It's been dark all night, 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. We're getting off point. The cable providers getting a little just desserts is fine. I think DirecTV was a bit pigeonholed, and they needed to try to make a play after the bungling of NFL Sunday Ticket and how that's getting stripped, and how now their monopoly is now getting crashed and crumbled. Even though the new resolution is an insane amount of money to get Sunday Ticket compared to the $400 beforehand. I get it. You want to make it more available. There's a price for making it more available for that contract. It's still ridiculous and absurd. Maybe it's 2024 isn't the year. Maybe in 10 years, 2034, we have affordable pricing for the games and the sports that we want to watch. No shot.
Probably not,
Okay.
because especially with the way these contracts are getting just progressively more and more expensive for the leagues as well. I mean, I think what's also causing a lot of problems, like there doesn't need to be live programming. Like I don't care that Young Sheldon's coming on. I'm not gonna sit down and watch Young Sheldon at 8 o'clock.
Yeah,
Go
that's
binge
shocking
it.
given the doppelganger effect that you have
Screw
with Young
you!
Sheldon.
I look nothing like Young Sheldon. You piece of crap. There's so many comments that I can make about who you look like.
Who do I look
I
like?
compared you to Shrek. Everybody's compared you to Shrek.
Why did you
big,
say I
dumb,
look like the
open-
dad from Young Sheldon? He's got a big gut and he's
No,
got
because that
goofy
guy's
hair.
likable. That guy's actually likable. You're not.
Oh, you've seen one alpha edit of him on TikTok.
There's so many alpha edits of him. So many alpha edits of him. He seems like a cool guy. Last thing that you had in the notes here, though, Sean, you've been left this in the doc a couple of times. I don't understand what you're going for here. What's your issues with sports movies now?
Okay, so you know how I've been watching TV shows on YouTube lately through clips. Occasionally,
I forgot you were
I'll see a
doing
movie.
This. Wait, yeah, elaborate on what you're doing. No, actually, allow me to explain. Sean is watching movies and TV shows not by sitting down and watching them, but he's watching these highlight packages that are produced by some guy in Malaysia that he's just trying to get engagement, because in his country, he's probably able to monetize it, but it's not monetized in the US. So you're just sitting there watching these cut-ups.
Better Call Saul looks like a pretty good show from what I've seen.
You haven't watched any of these shows, but you've watched. This is the most insane consumption, of most brain-rotted consumption of any programming. It's a step further than sitting and watching the TikTok clips that cut down whole.
Yeah.
By the way, you're gonna end up moving on to. Have you seen the compilations where a really bad AI voice will narrate a whole movie in a
The
minute
bad AI
30?
voices are getting worse somehow.
But they'll explain the plot of a whole movie in a minute 30 without naming any of the characters. You're going to be watching those really soon.
My YouTube Shorts AI algorithms are so bad. It'll be like a shameless clip. It'll be, can't believe he did this for money. And the clip tells you nothing. There was no money involved. It's literally brain rot trash. So I got to have to clear it up. And I think with Better Call Saul, I'll end up watching that TV show. Billions, that's strictly
You've already
for
watched the
watching
whole thing.
I just need to know the characters. But I occasionally, because I like movies, a movie trailer will pop up. And I saw a clip from a movie that Michael Shannon was in, where he was a rowing coach. I believe it was called
it's
Heart
on
of
Amazon.
Champions or
It's on
something
Amazon,
like
yeah.
that. And it got me thinking, wow, I've seen a lot of rowing movies lately, and I decided to do some research because I realized I haven't seen a football movie come out in a while, and
We got that the Burlsworth one. That one wasn't that long.
not counting documentaries. Do you know how many football movies we've got since 2020?
How many?
2.
What were they?
Oh no, 3, I guess technically. I don't count the last one as a real movie.
Did you write down the name of the
Bowl,
movies? or you
Bowl
just wrote
Game
down a number?
Armageddon 2023, 80 for Brady.
What's Bowl Game Armageddon?
It's nothing. It's a nothing movie. And American Underdog, the Kurt Warner story, which is basically a documentary.
I want to watch that.
I'm counting it as 2. Do you know how many crew rowing movies we've had since 2020?
10.
4. We have double the amount of crew.
What were they?
And the rowing movies: The Boys in the Boat, The Novice, A Most Beautiful Thing, Heart of Champions. 4 rowing movies compared to 2 in football.
Rowing doesn't get the coverage that football gets.
Good. Rowing stinks. I don't care about these Ivy Leaguers rowing in the boats. What, did you like that movie?
I didn't watch any of them, nor do I intend to watch any of them.
Baseball only has 2. Basketball has 12 since 2020.
Basketball's a little easier to track in a
I'd say
in
so.
a movie. The Adam Sandler movie. What was that? What movie was that? The Adam Sandler.
The longest.
No, the basketball one that he did recently.
Oh yeah, the oh, good God.
God, what was the name of that? We're some of this. We would be the. We should do a movie podcast. It's just not naming movies. Oh, what's the one with the the guy and the?
It had that person in it. That's just terrible. I don't know the basketball movies, but I know that America has an
Hustle.
issue. Oh,
no,
Hustle.
wait, what? No, it wasn't Hustle.
No, Hustle had Anthony Edwards in it, right?
Wait, Adam Sandler.
Goodness, I'm just saying.
No, it is Hustle. I got
Oh yeah. That's
Anthony Edwards was in it.
That's a good pull for you.
That was a good movie.
Yeah, but why are there no football movies anymore? There's no stories we can make a football movie.
I think a lot of them have been told. I think a lot of them.
I'm tired of the TV show movie for football. The whatever
All-American?
All-American.
That's a great show.
Give it a rest.
That talk about brain rot, man. That
Yeah.
one was built for TikTok. Holy shit!
I'm just over it. I don't know why we can't have a good football movie nowadays. Make a story up. I don't care. Give me some underdogs. Give me a big favorite getting taken down. And I don't think this is just childish yearning.
I don't think that the general public is attracted to
Big
made
men in the gladiator armor playing football.
No, I don't think that they are. I think that the only way that you could sell it is if you do it like All American, where it's like a CW drama where, you know, the moms can sit down and be like, there's drama between the couples. There's drama between the couples. And then, like, you know, their husband could sit there and just kind of nod their head and like, yeah, there's football happening in this thing. I don't think you can get that mass.
Did you enjoy Remember the Titans?
I did, but I don't think that those movies are sellable these days. I
How
just
could
don't.
they not be? It's football. It's the biggest. Football is the biggest brand. It's become a
Unless
living,
it's direct to
breathing
platform,
organism.
which I guess you could. It makes it a little easier because you could go direct to platform a little easier now. I don't
direct to platform because that's just going to be a dog-s movie. I'm saying, give me a real football movie.
Write a script.
Not a documentary.
Write a script. Stop complaining.
I will. It'll be about a blind long snapper that snaps
right.
For USC and beats out all other long snappers taking up that spot. That's what I'll do. Hey, there's your movie. Make a Jake Olsen movie. It's a good story. The stories are all told. Why is that not a good story, Joe?
We're ending the show before I say something that it's going to get me canceled off this earth. At Joe DeLeone, at Sanderson Radio, at Hack City Pod. We're going to be live on the Twitter account next time because we forgot to set that up for today. We should be back at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time on Wednesday, barring any late work schedule changes for me. But we will be doing that show. Folks, we'll talk to you later. Enjoy the rest of your week.